Halloween 3 is a 1982 science fiction horror film written and directed by Tommy Lee Wallace. In his directorial debut, Tommy first dipped his toes into the Halloween franchise with his work on the original in 1978, having played Michael for the closet scene and having been in charge of editing and production design. John Carpenter and Deborah Hill reprised their roles as producers in Halloween 3 from Halloween 2, with this being their final involvement in the franchise going forward. Dean Kunde also returns as the cinematographer for Halloween 3, and despite this not being a film I particularly enjoy, his work is noticeable and does elevate the movie to an extent, even if it's not as good as his previous work in the franchise. But before I say anything more on this movie, I feel it's important to preface everything with this. Yes, I'm aware the film has developed a cult following since its release and that many feel it was an admirable departure, and had it not been called Halloween it could have done better critically and financially. I would disagree with this. While yes, it is an interesting idea to depart from Michael Myers and make it into an anthology series, not only is this film a stinker on nearly every level, but doing so was a poor choice. By 1982 Michael Myers was deeply engraved in the franchise's DNA. He's simply what people associate with the series, much like Jason for Friday the 13th or Freddy for A Nightmare on Elm Street. My issue lies not with Michael not being in the film, but simply being that I simply cannot derive any enjoyment out of Halloween 3. And with that I'll shut up and explain the plot and what works and doesn't work with Halloween 3. Halloween 3 follows Drive Daniel Shallis, played by Tom Atkins with all the personality and charm of a tube of toothpaste, who's investigating the murder of a man who was murdered in his hospital, desperately clutching a mask. He eventually meets up with this person's daughter, Ellie, who is played by Stacey Nelkin, and together they travel to where these mysterious and highly popular new masks are to get to the bottom of this. But who murdered her father? A man in a black suit who crunches his nose or burning himself alive in his car. Anywho, they discuss the events surrounding this and head to the factory in the god-forsaken hellhole that is California, where after a series of events they discover that these masks contain microchips, that they themselves contain parts of Stonehenge, which this organization fucking swiped all the way from England. And when someone wearing one of these masks sees a commercial made by the same company, Silver Shamrock, which by the way is the most infuriatingly annoying commercial of all time, surpassing Puppy Monkey Baby and Sprite Cranberry, a dimensional portal is opened in their brain, summoning all sorts of bugs and snakes, killing them instantly. The creator of these masks, Cochrane, is doing so to return Halloween to its roots during the age of Samhain, in which children were sacrificed in a ritual in his native land of Ireland, just like any patriotic Irishman would do. Oh, and by the way, the person who killed Ellie's dad is actually an android, and Cochrane made a shit ton of them. The doctor who had been captured manages to escape and kill Cochrane and all his henchmen, and after driving some ways off, it's revealed Ellie is also an android, which makes the fact he had sex with her twice before asking her age earlier even more awkward. Anywho, she dies and Dr. Shallis, now at a gas station, is frantically calling stations just before the commercial starts, pleading with said stations to stop the ad. Just as he's trying to stop the final station, he hears two ad playing and the film ends with him screaming and the song playing in the background, leaving the viewer to wonder if he managed to save the day or not. Now I know based on this SparkNotes summary this may sound like a somewhat interesting movie, but it moves slower than a stampede of turtles through a pool of molasses and peanut butter, with mediocre acting and no tension whatsoever. There was a reason this film was once hated and forgotten, and while I can definitely give it credit for trying to be different and at least being nice to look at, these do not save the film whatsoever, and with that I would give Halloween 3 a 0 out of 10. This is simply a horrible movie that I have absolutely no desire to ever see in any capacity for as long as I live. And that'll be the video. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed it, please be sure to follow me on social media.